me and Brayden went and watched a horror movie, dude. It's Halloween season. It's a beautiful season.
Dude, we didn't watch a horror movie.
No, we didn't, dude. We actually watched Polar Express. Dude, I am so number one, Halloween's next week. Isn't that trippy? It's next Thursday.
It is a little bit trippy.
It does not feel like Halloween. It's 90 degrees here in Florida. It's hot. I'm dying. It was a little cool because we had 2 hurricanes destroy our people. But praying for everyone that was affected by that. But it brought some cold weather for a couple days, and then now it's beaming hot again for no reason.
I hate that.
Hate it, dude. So it's Halloween season, which is great because we get horror movies coming out, bro. And this week, Smile 2 dropped. A movie that I remember the promotion for Smile 1 back in like 2021. And I remember they were sitting at...
In like the baseball game?
Yeah, baseball, and then the Rams game. They went to SoFi Stadium, and they were like, remember sitting in the stands just smiling the whole time. Which, by the way, dude, try to smile for more than like 2 minutes. It starts to hurt, dude. Your muscles start tensing up. You start having cramps. I don't know how they were doing that, bro. Anyway, they better drop some bags. Some bags for them people. Bags.
Just injecting them with shit, just like...
Facts, dude. Some Botox, bro, to keep it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we went and watched Smile. I did not watch the original Smile because it looked like, I think Brayden was the same way. It looked like one of those really cringy horror movies that was just like so stupid. Like smiling, yeah, like smiling's not something that scares me. It's like it's dumb. So I never watched it. Some people said it was good, but I was like, no, dude, I'm okay. I don't want to waste my money. This is before Actors POV was out too, so we had no excuse to go see bad movies. Fool's Paradise. But I think we were like, okay, we need to watch Smile 2. We watched Smile 1 before we went and saw this movie. I was pleasantly surprised with how well that movie was, or how well made that movie was. The plot was amazing. The acting was solid. The characters were really good. Kyle Gallner was in that, who I love him as an actor. He's underrated in my opinion. Also comes in here and Smile 2 as well. In the opening scene, which we'll get to. And... I was very, very pleased with the first Smile movie. I loved it. I thought it was really, really dope.
Surprisingly, not in a bad way.
Surprisingly, the artistic style that's in that movie too is the way it's shot. You know what I'm saying, with a lot of really unique angles and the upside down shots and there's just some really, really cool artistic choices that then translated to Smile 2 that worked really, really well. So I was very pleased with Smile 1. So then we're like, okay, cool. So I actually had a lot of hope in this movie. I'm like, all right, you know what? Brand new story. It's like an anthology series almost, right? Same kind of premise, but brand new characters and everything. So this one had Naomi Campbell in this one. Obviously, really talented actress who plays like this Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, I would say, kind of a pop star. And it's this huge star, basically, sees, this kid, who she went to high school with, because she's kind of dealing with, a surgery, and stuff like that. And she goes in to see her friend from high school who's supplying her with, I forgot what the drug was, but it was some kind of,
it was,
not Novocaine, but.
No, it starts with a P.
Perkies. Perky.
It's like,
God, that really bothers me, bro.
I'm looking it up. That is bothering the shit out of me. But yeah, it was because her husband got in the accident that caused her to have a surgery on her back.
No. So yeah, her husband, she causes the accident, which throughout the whole movie, like they play with like the fact that, you just think that they just got in a car accident, but little do we know she's crazy. She's crazy. And she caused the accident because they were both, doing coke and doing every drug imaginable. So so the way that the Smile curse is passed on is, you get possessed with this demon-like entity. They makes you hallucinate and see all these different things, and eventually makes you kill yourself. And it's really cool because you get a view from the point of view of the person that's possessed, because on the outside it looks like the person just kills themselves, but they're hallucinating. They think someone else is killing them, so they they don't really even know they're killing themselves. They just think someone else is killing them. It's really interesting. I love that design. I really like the scene that she gets the curse passed on to her. So like I said, she goes in, she sees her high school friend, and she's trying to get some drugs, and he's freaking out, and she thinks that he's just overdosing and doing all. Oh, sorry. The point of the curse, sorry, what I meant to say is that, so the person then kills themselves, that's possessed. And if someone views it and if someone sees them kill themselves, then the curse is then passed on to them. And it's like a genie kind of, going from vessel to vessel.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to find this drug. I can't
You're
find
good, bro.
this drug. God
Yeah,
damn
it's
it.
fine. It's all right. So it kind of goes from vessel to vessel. And that's what happens in this movie. And then the person's dead. The person that had the curse on them is totally dead. They kill themselves. What happens in this scene when she gets the curse passed on to her? She goes in to see her friend, and this kid is freaking out. She's like, "Okay, this guy's crazy. He ODs. He's on the ground." And she's like, "Okay, that's kind of weird."
I love how they. Sorry, not to cut you
good,
off. I love how they put him. How they had that beginning scene. Because it is kind of I felt like it was kind of weird at first. I was like, how the hell is this kid intermingled with these Russian gangsters? And then the cop comes in and starts shooting them up.
So I was talking about when he actually does when he passes the curse on to the girl. But yeah, at the beginning of the movie. Yes. Yeah.
I was just saying I like how they gave it to him at first. They explain the dude from the last movie comes in. He's trying to the big point of it is if you're able to kill another human in front of another person, it passes the curse on to them.
Yep.
And you don't have to kill yourself. So he was trying to do it sneakily because he's a cop and he had the insight. And he goes in and everything just went wrong and he killed both of them in an accident. And he turned around and the kid that Logan's talking about happened to be there. And it was funny because I'm like when I saw him in the scene in the LA apartment, I was like, why the fuck was he there in that weird shithole? But then you think about it, he was probably buying all those drugs off of the Russian guys.
Yep.
While they're counting the money. And then basically that's when the cop, gets stormed and he gets destroyed.
Dude, so let's talk about that. That was gnarly. So yeah, this character that we were with for the entire, first movie has this amazing opening sequence, bro. The way it was shot and everything was so dope.
One of the best opening I was glad you said that. I was saying the same thing.
I loved it, dude. It was so good. Which, by the way, he was actually part of the opening sequence in the Scream movie as well, I believe. Yeah, I know he was in the Scream 6 or 5. But anyway, so he was part of that as well.
That's why he looked familiar as shit.
Yeah, he was in one of the Scream movies, the new ones. But anyway, so yeah, he like Brayden said,
He goes in, kills one of the brother. I guess it was a brothers, two Russian brothers, and then the drug dealer kid was in the back that you don't see
see at all. And then right at the end, he's like, because what happens is he has to obviously kill one guy, keep the other guy alive. And what happens is he's trying to kill the brother. He kills the brother, and then the guy that's sitting on the couch starts shooting at him.
Yeah,
he's like, oh no.
Which is so stupid. Why would you kill your hostage, idiot?
Yeah,
I
agree. Why not shoot the guy?
Gun.
I totally agree. So, and you have experience with this. Like you said, you are a cop. What are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway,
Scream 7 all over again, bro.
Yeah, facts, dude. Not as bad as that.
Use the gun properly.
Not as that. Not running at someone with a loaded gun. What are you doing? Anyway, dude. That's like trying to swing a sword when you're standing 15 feet away from them, dude. It's like, what do you do? You're not Jack Sparrow, dude. But yeah, so anyway, he does that. He's like, no, he shoots the guy on the couch. He's like, oh my God, I killed this guy and I killed the guy that viewed it. So now the curse is going to still be with me. No. The guy's dying. And then he hears something move. He looks behind him, literally, and he sees the kid that, we talked about later on.
I'm so sorry, bro. It wasn't supposed to be you.
Yeah, it's so messed up, dude. And then, so then he viewed it. The curse is then passed on to him. And as he goes to leave, some more Russian gangsters pull up in a van. He's like, oh shit. I love how this scene was filmed. It felt like a Bad Boys movie. You're being thrown around, you know what I mean, from thing to thing. I really like that. And it fit very well. That's one thing I like about this filmmaker, this director and cinematographer, DP, whoever. They did a really good job of adapting their film style to different situations. You know what I'm saying? Because this part of the movie felt like a whole different movie than the rest of the film. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And there's and then the performances on stage from the concert from our main character also felt very different from the rest of the movie. Like they did a really good job of showing different artistic choices with their filmmaking and camera work that really got you engaged in different moments, which they did a really good job with. So really good job by them on staying very versatile and flexible. But anyway, so the Russian gangsters, mobsters pull up. And it's like, oh shit, dude. So then he's trying to get out. They're trying to get in. They finally get in. They see the dead guys. He locks himself in a bathroom, breaks out a window, runs out. The guy starts shooting at him, the Russian mobster. He's, running. Right as he gets past the road.
Dude, we're like, he made it.
Dude.
And then out of there, and a car just murks his shit.
Crazy. And then you just see his blood just make the shape of a smile, and all his guts and everything. And then that's how it opens. So it's crazy stuff, dude.
Yeah, it was a good opening.
Really good opening.
Logan said, that's where it segues to when she goes in. She's trying to get. It might be with an R. It was with a P or an R, but it was like it's a pain that helps her back. You know what I mean? She honestly was. She had a substance problem that they touch on in the film, but like you can genuinely see it's not like she's not. She maybe is addicted, but not in the bad like a way like she's trying to be addicted. Like she genuinely is just getting it for pain.
Yeah, she's actually in pain. She's actually in a lot of pain, and is trying to battle that.
They really do highlight that a lot.
A lot, and because here's the thing too is the reason she had to get this drug is because of her past with substance abuse. She didn't have access to anything stronger than Tylenol, and ibuprofen and stuff. So that's why she kind of resulted to that. But yeah, that's one thing about this movie, Brayden, that I'm glad you touched on that because it's something that the first movie did too. This is a film on mental health. And same thing with their first film too. They do a really good job of kind of having some some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Social commentary on mental health and how you don't really know what someone's going through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the entity does feed on your traumas and your unhealed areas. So I like that. They were able to. I like how they're able to portray that because it very much is like you said, it definitely is there.
Yeah. No, yeah,
Can't miss it.
They did a really good job in the first movie and in this movie of making
I think
it.
They even did better in this one with it.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very different trauma, like you said, and I think as entertainment workers, you know what I mean, like us in the industry, I think you relate to a lot of the pressure behind the scenes that not a lot of people know about, and I think that they did a really good job of hitting that in this film, and like you said, an entity that just feeds off trauma is so interesting, and they did a really good job of bringing that to life. So I really like that aspect. So then, like I said, as we were saying, the same kid from the opening, she goes in to get some drugs, and the kid kills himself in front of her, and it then gets passed on to her. And there's
I really like how at first. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
go ahead.
He's just she was so locked in until it was he did it so many times, and then it was the last one he finally falls, and she's still locked in. The trance was already there. You could see the spell going from him to her, and then instantly she was and flew back up and was what the fuck.
Yep.
And I think it's very interesting then that they show she was about to call 911, but she didn't because this is supposed to be the resurgence of her tour, and she's looking at the drugs and all that.
That's what was so interesting about this movie is, it adds a whole nother level of conflict that this is a, huge star. Like I said, this is a Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift level, pop star who, has a name and has a troubled past. So you can't just, call the cops, and then you're surrounded by she looks over, there's a whole mountain of cocaine and Percocets and Zans and all these different Molly and all that, all this stuff that's gonna get her in trouble with the law, and also become a big story, and she's about to go on tour and stuff, and there was just a lot of that
after coming back from do you know who she's really like? She's like Britney Spears. She came back from her Britney Spears crash out moment.
Yeah. No, yeah, and she, pretty much, and she's recovering. She's doing really well, and she's on a trend, right? And then that all kind of obviously falls apart here. So what's really cool about this movie is you see this thing slowly just get worse and worse. Same thing with the original Smile, with Smile 1, is, it just kind of starts out as she starts kind of seeing things. You know what I mean? She goes home, she goes to bed that night, and she sees number one, she's still freaking out about the fact that she just saw her friend from high school just, mash his face in with a weight plate,
Yeah.
But this is what I don't understand, okay? This is where the movie gets hella confusing because of the ending. She calls up her friend, and she invites her friend out after, about a day or two after experiencing this because she needs help. Now, her friend and her had a big fight.
We're talking about Gemma, right?
Yeah, Gemma. Her and Gemma had a huge fight and have been, haven't talked in a year.
For a year, yeah.
For a year. And she calls her and asks her to come over. And then they have this really good moment of kind of reconnecting. This Gemma girl's really funny, straight up.
It's this 20-minute segment of them having this come together moment. They forgive each other. Gemma's there for her. She cries to her. They hug. They have a sleepover together. She wakes up in the morning with her. And see, that's what confuses me, bro. But her mom sees her.
Yeah. And she's like, hey. And she's like, hey. Yeah. So
what was real?
So that's what I'm saying. So what we're confused about, like Brayden was saying, is at the end of the movie, we'll get to that in a second. So there's also so you got Gemma, the character, her friend, they reconnect. You also have this one guy who is this weirdo that keeps texting her. She doesn't know if it's real or not. If it's
an unknown number.
Unknown number, and he's like, we need to meet. I know that you were at the guy, the friend's house that died. I know you were there. I know you know about that. I know your history, your past, where you all this stuff. He's like, let's meet up, and she's like, okay, we're gonna meet in public, and he's like, okay, let's do it. They meet up in public. He drops the lore that we already know about the smile curse. He's like, hey, my brother was actually one of the 8 previous people that had this curse on them. I know that this is probably happening to you, and I know how to beat it. He's like, the way to beat it and to get rid of this thing for sure is we're going to exactly. We're going to kill you. We're going to kill you. We're going to make your heart stop. But I'm an ER nurse. I'm a professional ER nurse. I can bring you back to life. He's like, my brother died to this thing. He killed himself, and they showed it that stupid flash of him ripping his jaw off, dude. It was what? Jesus,
with the
dude.
Crowbar.
Yeah, it was so gross, man. So we see him kill himself. And then he's like, it was just one of those random flashes. He's like, I want this thing to be gone. So then she's like, you're crazy. We're not doing this. What are you talking about? I'm just going insane. Leave me alone. And then leaves. So this is a guy who we know actually exists, right? This event actually happened. She met with him in public, and they had this conversation. Now, she continues to battle with this, seeing these things and having these hallucinations throughout this entire film. And it continues to get worse and worse. I know you have something to say, Brayden. Go ahead.
Yeah, because this part's interesting. Because that's where I feel... This is personally where I feel the hallucinations did start. I felt like everything up until this point was real. Because what ends up happening is they see them at the bar. They're like, oh my God, is that Sky? Is that Sky? And she has to leave. She basically just has to dip. So she goes home. She basically tells him, I'm not fucking dying. You're crazy. I don't even know you. When she's at home, they attack her. It's a group of them. Also, we need to talk about Alfredo at some point, dude. That guy.
Yeah, well, so she starts having these visions. We could talk about that. And one of the visions, actually, so this is right before her friend came over. The first time.
When she did the meet and greet.
The meet and greet. And she does this meet and greet, as you guys saw in the trailer. She sees a girl smiling, which is really weird, and that didn't do anything. But then she sees this Alfredo guy who's freaking out. One of those really weird,
Dude, he's got
fans.
eczema. He's I really think we could have a good life together.
Yeah.
One of those weird fuckers.
Weird, massive fan, right? Weird fan. And so he Yeah, he's like, freaking out.
I
Really
feel so
wants to
bad.
meet
I'm
her.
like, oh, you got the eczema and like this and like that's like, nah, dude, it's
No,
not even that. But they
no.
purposely tried to highlight that he was like unhealthy, unclean.
Exactly. It's the personal hygiene, you know what I'm saying, aspect of it. So, but yeah, no. So he, as we know later, because he has literally a skid mark in his underwear, which we'll get to in a bit, which was part of her imagination because she goes home that night, she's sitting there, and then she
just like the bottle breaks.
Yeah, a bottle breaks, and she goes over and there's glass on the ground, and then she hears something else, and she walks down this like glass hallway. She goes around the corner, and
it's Alfredo's clothes just lined up.
Yep.
Like fucking treats in a line.
Yeah, like dog treats, yeah.
And and it gets to the skin mark and the white undies at the end, and then you look up and Alfredo's just staring at her, smiling naked.
Facts. And he's just sitting there, and then literally for like 4 seconds,
ready to go.
You just see him. No, literally, bro. You just see him standing at the end of the hallway, and then starts bolting. And bro, I've never seen. It was like Ray Lewis, like Roquan Smith, scary. Like just running. I mean, an absolute like Derrick Henry.
I tell you guys, like it was so quiet for like 20 seconds. I know it was like it was like no.
Here's what's crazy though. You know when like you guys go get ready to run, it's like a push off, and then they run. It just seemed
he had a push off.
It just seemed like he just ran. Like there was no like wind up.
They deleted the push off.
No,
like,
literally.
He literally just started sprinting.
Dude, it was terrible. Like me and Brayden in the theater went, oh, like it caught us off guard, dude. Which was really, really dope.
And when she gets to the door to get out, that's when the Gemma opens the door.
Exactly.
Or so we think.
So we think, but then the next morning Gemma helps her that night. Like you said, they have that 20-minute conversation, whatever, the sequence with Gemma, and then the mom comes over that next day because she's late for one of her performances, and then Gemma and the mom have a moment. So, and this is all very, very key, and this is why it's very confusing to the story. So anyway, she. Fast forward again, she goes, sees the guy, comes back home, is like, you're crazy, whatever. And then she is at her house that night by herself. And she just starts, like, well, how does it go? She's in her room, and then she looks in the closet, right? And she looks in the closet, and she hears something, and she turns on the light, and then there's just, like, 7 people.
6 of them.
And they're like spiders on the walls, and one's on the roof, one's above them. And then she looks away.
If you've seen the trailer, you maybe seen it where there was like a girl like holding herself on the wall, and they were like pushing her, and they're all like crawling on the wall like that. Yep. And it was truly kind of horrifying. Like it was like
that's her house.
Yes, and it was very tense because of how long they elongated it, and nobody was doing anything. They were just following her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole point of this scene, though, is they follow her through the hallway back to the living room, and that's when you find out there's more people in the living room. And as she runs for the door, they grab her, and like a swarm, like a crowd swarm, they all pick her up, and they start spinning her, and they start moving her everywhere.
It's like the Grinch scene.
Yeah, look, yeah. and then at the end, this is where I think the hallucination things happen. Because after this is where everything gets kind of shaky. Things don't really seem that real. What ends up happening is off camera, we don't see who does it, but somebody puts their hand in their mouth and starts going down, and like, when you watch the first one, you've seen the beast, and it comes out in the entity, and it comes out in the second movie, and how long it is, and how like what it does, and it crawls in the mouth. It's disgusting and horrifying. But I find like it only makes sense because this is when the next morning, and I'll just do it in beats, and we can just go back through it. The next morning, she wakes up in a hospital saying it was a concussion. She has something kill her mom, which is revealed that she accidentally did it. Then she went and met up with Morrison to do this stop her heart. Morrison never came back. She tried to kill herself with a needle. It didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went into the demon's world and then ended up on stage performing like she was always supposed to, and then killed herself in front of everyone. And I'm only saying that so we can break it down and go back through it. But it's just like, when you look at those events, none of those match up.
No.
From here on out, none of those match up. A hospital to the Pizza Hut freezer trying to stop her heart to waking up on stage fully ready to go in the performance in front of the live audience.
Right. Well, because and this is important too. You see throughout this movie that there are cuts like that. Like there's a point, for example, when she's walking down the hallway and one of her like assistants walks out of her dressing room and he's smiling, and then she goes like, "What the hell?" She walks in and then
everything was trashed.
Everything's trashed. There's glass broken. There's stuff thrown everywhere. Walls are ripped off. Whatever, wallpaper. And then her mom walks in. She's like, "Oh my God, what did you do?" And she was actually the one that did it the whole time. So, what the movie's trying to do, and me and Brayden understand this, is they want you to go on this journey with her. And this is something that the first movie really didn't do. Like, they show the hallucinations and stuff, but they don't do it to the point where it's, like, super confusing. You can still kind of follow what's happening, This one just jumps so far. I think they just wanted you to get in the head of what's her name, Riley?
Sky.
Or Sky.
Or Sky Riley, yeah.
Sky Riley. You get in the head. They want you to be in the head of Sky Riley and experience how jumpy it is and how this really messes with you mentally. So I get why they did it, but like me and Brayden were saying, they did it in a way that was just way more confusing than what it needed to be because, like that moment was cool that I explained with, with the dressing room thing. But then all the sequences that follow literally that moment make zero sense. Zero sense.
It's funny you say that though, because I totally agree. Like the first movie, you feel like it's you, her, and everyone else kind of there just observing her. In this movie, I don't know why it felt more personal. Like it was just you and Sky Riley throughout the movie. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I love that point. But I agree. I completely agree. And I'm even trying to go back and I meant to watch like an ending explained before we did this, just so I could kind of have like my own opinion like formed on it. But it's just weird how like she wakes up in the hospital, the murder happens. Okay, whatever. She leaves. She gets to the hospital. The guy leaves, never comes back. And then she gets attacked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
By like the entity, and we see it. And then as she kills herself, it wakes her back up. And then when she wakes up, she's on stage. Her mom's alive again. She's in front of a crowd. Then see, that's where I got to thinking. I was like, maybe where she pushed the old lady off the stage at like the Kids for Thing Foundation, like maybe that never happened. I have no clue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gotta kind of pinpoint where I think it all flipped up.
Yeah. This
This
movie,
is weird.
It's all interpretation. I feel like
100%.
it's one of those films where they're like, hey, let's go this route and then let them figure it out, which is cool because it works with some movies. But this is a film that, like, the first movie just did it so well. You had a blueprint. And I think they just want to do something different, which I respect them for. You know what I mean? They didn't want to just make another Smile or Smile 1, right? They wanted to do something different. So I respect that they tried something different. But it's I don't know. You have to follow a story. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, like I think they did a really good job of creating the craziness. Like you don't know what's real, you don't know what's fake, right? But there has to be something for the audience to follow as well. That I think that there has to be a beginning, middle, and end, and there wasn't a middle or end. You know what I mean? It was kind of a beginning, and then have fun. You know what I mean? It's like let's throw you in the water and see what happens. Enjoy it.
This is what I was explaining, Logan. I think we agree on this. Like the ending, the last final shot and scene is not the problem. Like I actually like the ending. I like, and spoiler alert, obviously what ends up happening is Sky Riley. We watch it on stage. The entity like takes her over.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You watch it go inside of her, and she ends up, killing herself
Bashing
in front
her
of a live
face
audience
with her microphone, puts it in her eye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in front of the live audience. So now the curse is passed on to
Everyone.
hundreds of thousands. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's not the ending that I don't like itself. I wasn't expecting a super happy ending. Watching the first one, it's not like that either.
Yeah.
But to get to that point, like we said, just those last three events don't make sense. You don't really know what's real at that point. Because that was my best thing I told Logan. I think, like I said, when the group attacked her, you see her get kind of consumed for the first time. Maybe she, I don't know, like maybe she had the concussion there, they think, and then that's like the next morning is when she had a performance.
Mm-hmm.
But also the big point that I even forgot to point out was on her way to Morrison, she thinks that she's with Gemma the whole time, and Gemma calls her in the passenger seat, And you find out Gemma's never been there the whole movie.
Which
the Gemma that we saw at the house that slept over, they never called, they never texted. That's why when she was texting Gemma in the movie, she was like, you could see it. She was spam texting her. Gemma never answered. She even says on the phone, she's like, why are you texting me this weird stuff? Like, I'm worried about you. Like, we haven't talked. Like, you told me I was a cunt. They never met up. It was all a manipulation by the demon. And this was before any of the confusion scenes that we were talking about. So it's like, how much of this has been real? How much of this has been fake? And it goes back to what Logan said. It's supposed to confuse you, but I feel like
I really like that moment too, by the way. I didn't mean to cut you off, but when she has that text and then it like
and she like looks over at her.
Driving.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's a big thing. Like Logan's right. And she wakes up, she looks over and she's like, Gemma hates you. And she's like, oh my God. And she's like, I'm in control. And she wakes up and she's driving the fucking car.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? So it's just like, it's a lot of great pieces, a lot of great puzzle. Like, it's like a beautiful puzzle. I just feel like some of the pieces were like, not even in the wrong spot, just like flipped like the wrong way, like rotated like the wrong way.
Because here's my thing. If she wakes up and she's in control, but she still is driving from the hospital.
Is that real?
Sense. So is the hospital real? Because then at the end of the movie,
but then she killed her mom.
The mom's alive. Which, by the way, her killing, I loved that. It was so brutal and terrible. I was like, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like dealing with the guilt of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way Naomi Campbell had that moment when she looks down and it's her mom. Like, as an audience, you're just like, oh my God, you can see her face. Like, she doesn't even know what emotion she's feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's brutal, dude. And I loved that moment so much. And then now you kind of throw it away, too. So, like, I don't know, man. I wish this movie had more of a, I guess, clear ending, or a clear route. That it felt like, we were in a car driving down rural road that was just foggy and you don't know where you're going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and because that's a good thing to touch on is like they do touch on the fact of like when she was like a year ago or a few years back, like her and her husband, who actually is Jack Nicholson's son, who's very uninvolved in the movie, but he's her husband and he was a famous actor and like they hated each other. And that was like a big thing, what Logan was talking about in the car accident that, everyone thought they just got in an accidental car accident. Mm-hmm. Well, she did like a line of cocaine when they were both drunk and they were both screaming at each other. And, he definitely went too far and he pushed the right note, but it wasn't worth like killing him. But she ended up grabbing the wheel and fucking turning the whole thing, and they ended up flying off and crash landing.
Yep.
And it's crazy because when you see the scene of him dead, she turns and his whole like top of his head's cut off, and he's like completely.
His arms
dead.
were cut off.
His arms were cut off.
His legs were cut off.
But yeah, and she lived, of course, with like a lot of damage, of course. But it's crazy because I think that was the big thing with like the trauma. Like she's been haunted with this murder. It's not just a death. Everyone thinks it was just a death. She's been haunted with a murder she committed. You know what I mean? So I just wish maybe they even like delved more into that. I wish.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a lot of good things, and I think the storylines were really good. I would have liked a little bit more from the boyfriend.
Yep.
I would have maybe liked a little more clearness, I think, towards the end. It's not even the events. Like, if the events made more sense, like I was like, maybe she was in the freezer and like we find out like there and then it was like completely fake. It was clear that it was fake. Then yeah, things would be a little bit different.
Right.
But it's just not so clear.
Also, too, I would have really liked if they would have made that random guy kind of like the ex-boyfriend in the first movie. You know what I mean? That kind of character, more involved in like kind of figuring it out together. Like, I think that's really dope, and I feel like that would have been. But it is kind of that kind of takes away from one of the themes, though, the mental health thing on how you feel like you're in it just by yourself. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you have to do everything by yourself. So I think that was kind of the theme there of like
with this one, yeah.
Yeah, like you can't really with this one specifically, like you don't feel like you can rely on anybody. You don't feel like no one's really there to help you. It's just kind of you by yourself. So I get that. Like I said, I understand the theme. I understand the meaning behind the film and the purpose for it and all that stuff, but. Like Brayden was saying, it's just like you have so many good things here but you don't know really what to commit to because you don't know what's real or what's fake. Like with the hospital thing, when all that was going on, I'm like, okay, this is all hallucination. It's not real. And then the mom dies. And I'm like, okay, this is fake. And then it kept going on, and I'm like, this is fake. Oh no, it's real. This is a real thing. Yeah. And then at the end, it's like, oh, it's fake. It's like as
Is
a
it real or
viewer,
fake, man?
literally, dude, it's just like you don't know, I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's just it's one of those things like Brayden was saying. There's so many good things, but they just don't really let you focus on one single thing. So it's just kind of all over the place. But yeah, so I enjoyed this film. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to hit specifically. Is there any other moments, Brayden, that you think? I mean, like I said, I really like the ending too. I thought that was dope, like actually passing it on to hundreds of thousands, millions of people, because Naomi Campbell's character was the 9th person to have it. So it's not like this is something that's been
not even. That was just the 8th. She was the 8th from her brother, because I'm pretty sure they had like 20. Remember they were saying there was like it dates back to 20 people from the first movie.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh wow!
Because that's how they found the black dude from the first movie, the guy that killed the person. Because he was like, there was 19 or 20 people and only 19 died. And they're like, well, what about the 20th guy?
Right. You're right. My bad. So yeah,
but you have a point now. It's just gonna keep going though. Like it's like maybe in other countries now because people are watching it live. Like I don't know how that works. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it has to be in person, and I don't know if it solely is just one person it can transfer to. But if it can transfer to everybody, it just did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna make a third one. There's no way. It's just too complex now. You know what I mean? There's just too much going on. Like
that's what because you either do one of two things. Only one person got affected by it,
right?
Or you have to go big, and everybody there was affected by it.
Right. Yeah,
this is like global suicide has gone up.
Either way, there's just I don't think it's gonna be at least as fleshed out or grounded. You know what I mean? As these first two movies, but
unless it was a prequel, I can see a prequel.
Prequel would be dope. Prequel would be really dope. Maybe the guy's brother.
Like the first one.
Yeah, something.
Or even the guy's brother. That'd be cool.
Something that I think that would just add more development to his character. But yeah, just a very. I like this movie. Brayden liked this movie. It was just it's one of those films where it's just like it's so confusing, man. And there's just so many different points where, like I said, I like confusing movies. I like thrillers. I like, Shutter's Islands is, a great one. You know what I mean? One that's just like, you don't really know what to believe. And there's a big plot twist and everything that you've been watching is this, it's that. But this movie, but it has a very clear cut destination for the audience. This movie is one of those films that just doesn't have a clear cut destination. And so you don't know what to feel like. When I rewatch this movie, I don't even know what to feel like. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you watch it the first time and you're confused, that's one thing. You know what I mean? Because it might have, something came out of left field and, you know what I mean, changed different dynamics of the film, you know what I mean, that you already kind of had, a preset in your mind. But this is a movie that, like, me and Brayden still cannot tell what's real and what's fake because nothing lines up, which is, once again, what they wanted to do. I get that. But it just, I hate that. I need something that's a clear draw.
Me personally, I'm not a fan of it.
Me personally, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I don't like it at all, man.
I don't like it at all, man. We did not like that movie. But no, yeah. Overall, I enjoyed it. Brayden, do you have anything else to add on to it?
No, man. I definitely would go check it out. I will say I might like it more than the first one. I don't know. I think it's pretty close, but
Yeah.
they're both really good movies. I don't think the Smile franchise should be slept on.
No.
And like you hear us, like the biggest complaint is just the last kind of third act is a little confusing. Like it's not bad. None of the events are bad. It's just a little confusing.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I think it's a great movie. I think everyone should watch it. And yeah, I think we touched on everything. So
Yes,
go sign Heart Alfredo.
Yeah, baby. All right, let's go and rate this movie. Brayden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going first.
Yeah, go for it.
Damn, it's too much pressure. I'm just gonna give it a 9 flat.
Oh wow, that's high.
I was gonna give it an 8.9, but I was like 8.99, right there.
I respect it. Yeah, I'm gonna go 8. I'm gonna go 8 flat. Like I said, I just don't like movies that don't have that clear destination. You know what I'm saying? And it speaks on mental health very well. And the first movie also, I would say, speaks on mental health a little bit better. But I really do like this film. I think everyone should see it. Like Brayden said, don't sleep on the franchise. I like the first film a little bit better than this one, but they both do their job with their
The story.
themes.
You know what I was thinking? The story I think is definitely better than the first, but I think I like the elements of the second more.
Yeah.
Like you made such a good point with that pop star. Like just you're right. It makes such a different problem.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It adds a whole nother, which was a beautiful job by the filmmakers on adding an element, because it wasn't just that moment of her not being able to call it cops, but there's so many other moments of like, she can't just go meet with someone in public, she had to, go put like 15 jackets on, you know what I mean, like pretty much a shiesty mask, and then, she, and then there's some other moments where, she, when she runs out of the hospital, and people are recognizing her right away, and she, people are taking pictures of her, and she steals a Suburban, truck, SUV, and from her driver, her personal driver. Like, there's so many things that, her name, influences within this movie. But yeah, I give it an 8 just because I think it's confusing, and you have to have something that's more, drawn out and kind of clear cut for me, but I really did enjoy this film for what it was, and go watch it. Don't sleep on this franchise. I did because I thought it was stupid. I was like, smiling stuff is
Me
annoying,
too.
but they did a really good job. The jump scares are good in this movie. The build-ups are
Very
really
good.
good. The music is awesome. It's like a very Insidious kind of like eerie vibe in some moments. I really liked it.
Yeah. Good movie all around, guys. Good movie, good quality.
Yes, sir. There you go. So there's our rating, 8, and then a flat 9 as well for our rating on Smile 2. You guys let us know how you are feeling.